All right. Hope everybody's doing well, guys. Very, very exciting times that we're living in, guys. We just had another fulfilled prophecy. Okay. Um, just for those of you guys who are inside my private community, you know that God gave me a word on where a certain precious metal was going to be headed. And we literally got pennies, pennies away from the range that he had shown me. In fact, in my original word, the exact dollar amount wasn't clear, but I had projected uh, a specific dollar range. I'm sorry, a specific dollar amount, and it got $1 away from what I or from the range that I had seen in my dream. So God is so good. He is so faithful. When we started this journey back in 2024, when God began to speak to me about where the market was going in a category in the area of Forex, before I ever started, going live, talking about it and everything, I was involved with a small group of people, I think maybe 7 of us, in a private chat where we were involved in Forex trading and different things like that. God began to show me the markets. The next day, it would manifest. And, that was all well and good. But the Lord began to put it on my heart that I would be pivoting to crypto. And so I was like telling all my people in my community at the time who was involved with much more of these high risk opportunities that we were involved with, that God was pivoting me and that I feel like we need to switch to crypto. I wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like. I wasn't quite sure how to even invest in crypto. And then in August, just a few months later, he actually gave me my first prophetic dream about XRP. That manifested with just exceptional accuracy. If you guys remember that, I just love what God is doing, and I just can't be more thankful to Him for who He is, His heart, His character, His love, His provision, His protection, His nurturing, His care, His comfort, His just healing power is so amazing. And just don't put God in a box for your life and for your family, guys. He's just so good. But nonetheless, we saw that manifest with exceptional accuracy, where he even showed me that 92-cent price point, and then it would take off in a week and a half. And then on November the 5th, it took off, and in exactly a week and a half later, 10 days later, the peak price point on that day was 92 cents. Crazy, crazy, crazy. 2 months and 3 weeks prior, he had shown me just that is just astonishing how God, just can be so pinpoint accurate. But nonetheless, then he showed me last year we would see the flash crash where XRP would go from 240 to 140 and then back up to 250. That manifested in a 3-hour window. Just incredible. Could you imagine having sold here and then God saying, you're going to buy down here? And then when it manifested, because you had your limit order set, boom, all of a sudden it grabs it and pulls it up to this incredible price point in just a couple of hours. What on earth? I don't even know. God is just so good. And then, of course, we saw just the other day, one of the precious metals that I had gotten a dream about a few months ago, where it would be coming back down to this number. Well, it hit $1 away from that exact number just not long ago. Then he also showed me where it's headed next. And so, guys, this whole journey has just been so exciting, so fruitful, such a blessing. and to God be the glory. But I want to talk to you about this Iran war and the potential of peace talks, or even what will appear to be a stalling out or a dying out of this conflict. Is it coming? Well, I'm going to tell you what I heard, and it's not directly. It's from a friend of mine who is a prophet, and we've hosted her at the ministry. She heard from the Lord on the 31st, I believe, yesterday. No, I don't even remember. I think it was yesterday. She heard from the Lord that there was a shift coming to the Iran war and that it would begin to die down. Now, Apostle Giles had prophesied that, and he did this, and I shared this with you guys. He had prophesied just a few days before all the Iranian generals were bombed, when this whole thing picked back up in February of this year. He had prophesied just a few days prior. He said, you're getting ready to see an uptick. There's going to be a reigniting of this war. He said, and you're going to then see a period of peace. But he said it's going to be short-lived. It won't last long. And then we're going to see this nation go through a time of affliction. So I'm just sharing with you some things that I'm hearing from some trusted prophetic voices. Now, the scripture says we see in part, we know in part, we prophesy in part. And so oftentimes navigating this prophetic journey can be fun. And what that means is that, oftentimes you can't fully have it all figured out before the fulfillment manifests, whereby then you get to see, more clearly, oftentimes. And so timelines and, dates and those sort of things can be challenging in the prophetic. And that's why some of this stuff has even seemed to have drug out longer than we would have liked in some things. And then in other things, we're glad that it's not necessarily manifested yet. So depending upon what prophetic voice you're listening to, I would encourage you to leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you're hearing from some prophetic voices, of what you hear is coming. I know, Brandon Biggs is a trusted prophetic voice. He has obviously prophesied a lot of things. I think he may have also mentioned a time of what would look to be like false peace, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, there's also some prophetic words that I've been hearing as well about an uptick in the market that's coming. I do know that that's coming. And we know, I think everybody kind of knows that that's coming. They're just all waiting on it because obviously, in order for, XRP to get to $10,000 a coin or some crazy stuff like that, as we know, it will manifest at some point. It's got to, nothing goes in a straight line. So it's got to get up to $5 first, right? But nonetheless, I just wanted to, jump on here and kind of talk about what this means. Now, many people have said that this is going to be a year of blessing, provision, wealth transfer, and even there's there was a prophetic word, actually. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could remember. But he specifically had prophesied that in this season, that the like a spirit of poverty, if you will, that has been holding back God's people, binding them or something of that nature, limiting them, that he is going to be dealing with that in his people's life and that, they're going to, the glass ceiling is going to be broken, so to speak, and that they're going to be coming into, supernatural provision, and what has been stored up for them, what has been even withheld from them by the enemy. So, there's a lot of things circulating about what the word of the Lord is in this season. And, so I'm just encouraging you, if you want to know the specific, obviously, price points and things like that, I'm only sharing that stuff in my private community anymore. If you want to know why, it's because of some of the things that I just talked about. Some of the, stewarding of these prophetic words are not things that you can do just kind of off the cuff or flippantly. You have to be calculated and also understand the ebbs and flows of the prophetic, the pros and cons of stewarding a prophetic word, how everything opposite can actually occur first. We've seen that, I think, in almost every situation. And of course, that's, ripe opportunity for the scoffers and mockers to come out and be like, haha, I told you so. They don't do that anymore after so many fulfillments. I wonder why. But they sure did in the beginning. And, but nonetheless, God is so good, and he has been so faithful, and he just continues to show up and to prove himself over and over again. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. That is very interesting. That is interesting. I'm not quite sure what to think about that comment, to be honest with you. I appreciate you sharing, but there's been a lot that has come out about him lately, and I just kind of want to hold him at arm's length for a moment. I really kind of lost some, I don't know, just with some of the stuff that's come out. But number two, he also had shared a prophetic word about the earthquake coming to the West Coast within 2 weeks after that supposed tsunami that was going to hit Hawaii, that they were sounding the alarms and like people were getting up to high ground and everything. I think it was last year. And he had said that there would be something that would follow within 2 weeks that would basically wipe out the West Coast. And I was, even sharing that. And I get pretty disheartened when those types of things don't necessarily come to pass. So we'll just hold him at arm's length. But nonetheless, that's one of the risks of welcoming everybody to share, because you're going to get some that, I had some guy today comment and said, some of the astrologers are saying, and I'm like, whoa, we do not follow astrology, nor do we worship Satan. Okay. Some people don't realize that there is a lot of demonic wrapped up in astrology. So we try to be, informative in that respect. But nonetheless, let me know what you're hearing, guys, even if you're watching the replay. Couple of things that I do want to go over with you guys. For those of you guys who don't know, we've been using this really crazy, crypto cycle tracker that is so informative. It goes into, all the different things, how this, what percentage we're down from the all-time high, what territory we're in, how many how many drawdowns have we had in bull cycles over 40%? 2. Okay. And so you've got so much information, guys, that can even build what type of trader you're looking to be. It shows you the Bitcoin dominance. It shows you where the fear and greed index is. It's just such a powerful tool that pulls in all the data that of things that you just wouldn't believe is available. And I'm not going to go and do a deep dive into this, but it is just so informative to show you where we're at in the crypto cycle. It's crazy. And this is pulling data from so many things. If you want this, the link is in the description section. This is actually the add-on. This is the add-on, okay, of the Crypto Cycles course that teaches you how to understand crypto cycles, where we are in a cycle, what to look for, how not to be with the masses that are walking themselves off a cliff, how to not look at price action. By the time you're looking at price action, you're already late to the party. And so this is the link in the description section for the Crypto Cycles course. The tracker is a bonus add-on that you'll get. It's like on sale for like, I think it's like $19 a month. If you want to get access to this dashboard, guys, it's killer, but you got to get that Crypto Cycles course. Okay. Just go to theotherguru.com. It is fire. I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing more deep dives into this, but you have to, experience it for yourself. He even built a course to teach you all of the, data points within the Crypto Cycles Tracker dashboard that we were just looking at, because it's so informative and gives you so much information that nowhere else is going to be bringing all this information into one place. This will go with you in your days to always show you where you are in the crypto cycle. It's very exciting. And of course, you can build your profile or several profiles to determine what type of trader you are. And then it will present to you this data to tell you, where you're at and where you are not at, and what you can consider doing and what you should not consider doing based upon utilizing data that goes far beyond what many would consider technical analysis, charts, all these different things. This goes into incredible territory, guys. You got to check it out. That being said, the other thing that I'm going to make mention of is if you are brand new to crypto, guys, we are in the season of the wealth transfer. I am so sorry if you are late to the party, but let me tell you where I'm not sorry is the fact that you actually have a one up on many of us. You have a one up on many of us, meaning there are many who got into this crypto at a higher price point than where it's at right now. Not only that, there's other things like precious metals where God has shown me the future. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I always say I'm my DeFi guru, nobody else's. Okay. And so, but God has been showing me these price points. If you are a person of faith, it's up to you to determine what you believe to be from God that I might be hearing, or what isn't from God that I might be hearing. So that's not for me to tell you, that's for you to hear from him concerning that matter. However, if you're a part of this and you're, putting yourself in inside of this bubble that we're now living in, which is a pretty exciting bubble, then of course not every decision is going to be something that you're just going to roll with. You're going to pray about all those as well. But there's been some super exciting things that God has shown that have come to pass with just precision and pinpoint accuracy, like the precious metals price point that he just showed a few months ago, and we hit it. And now we know where the next price point is going as well. And so what does that mean? People even who don't understand trading or what have you, they don't understand what that means. Well, obviously, if you buy something at a certain price and it goes up, that whatever you sell it for is pure profit. However, then if you sell on an up price point, why is my nose itching so much today? And then buy at a lower price point if you have the belief that it's going to go back up. Well, then you just actually what we call like recycled your funds or double dipped, where you literally you're not using any more than profits to now roll them over and any original liquidity plus the profits now, and you're buying lower price points, which just basically snowballs your investments. So every share that you once held, whenever you grab profits and then sell and then buy lower, you now have the ability, if you take all of that and put it in at the lower price point, now you have all of those shares and more, because not only were you able to buy maybe that same amount of shares, but you were able to buy more because of it being now at a lower price point and because you had more dollars to work with. So the whole strategy here is basically like, people who invest in the stock market, for example, most people, have people that do it for them because the average person doesn't know what they're doing. In this arena, God is basically giving us insights where, as long as you have patience, utilize strategies, risk mitigation, understanding your risk capital, all these different things in which you can learn, okay? And I encourage you to do so, because nothing is ever as hard as we think it is when it sounds like Chinese. Does that make sense? Nothing is as hard as we think it actually is when it sounds like Chinese. So when you begin to learn Chinese, for example, then it doesn't seem so hard to hear Chinese. Like riding a surfboard, like anything in life that a bicycle, anything in life that requires you to get on the horse and experience it. Man, riding a horse can be fun. And riding a bike can be fun, and it's just like, I actually use that analogy a lot in the ministry. Like if you saw a bicycle and you never know what it was, and if nobody was there to tell you, and you saw it upside down, maybe sitting on the handlebars in the seat, like upside down, you could sit there and crank the pedal and realize, whoa, the wheels spin. That's great. You might be able to churn some butter with it. But that's not the original design. And so if you grab a hold of the owner's manual and then begin to realize, wow, this thing, if I just flip it over and then put my feet on these things called pedals, hold the handlebars, then try to balance myself, then after a while, I might be able to catch and glide. And then you begin to feel the wind through your hair. You're getting up to speeds that no man can get up to on foot, and it's just like, this is exceptional. And you just feel the sun beating on your face. And it's just like this exhilarating experience for someone who, what's that movie where the Will Smith played the end of the world dude, and the Book of Eli? That's what it was. And that's what it reminds me of. Like if nobody was there to tell you, but then you found the owner's manual. That's why I talk about this example in the Bible. The Bible is our owner's manual to teach us the use case for this creation from its creator, right? That's why I use the bicycle analogy. But in this case, I'm just sharing with you that when you begin to learn something that maybe you once never understood how to utilize, or maybe you thought you were no good at it or whatever, if you just begin to allow yourself to be teachable, then you can begin to experience this exhilarating, euphoric adventure that you get to be a part of. And that's what God's doing in this season. Now, there obviously is risk involved, especially if you're investing and you're using your hard-earned money or whatever that looks like. And so you have to understand what that looks like. You're welcome to ask questions of whoever, myself, but I'm not a financial advisor. And then, of course, you're able to, take and weigh anything that I would tell you from an amateur level, right? And then compare that to whatever you feel like, you need in the area of professional advice, if you feel that is what, you're going with. But no professional told me what God told me about XRP going up in 2024. No professional told me that we were going to have a flash crash, that in order for it to be pulled off would have to be the largest liquidity flush in the history of crypto, which ended up happening in October. Nobody told me that one of the precious metals that had just reached, incredible all-time highs was actually going to come down to a price point that was the exact bottom that it came to. No professional told me, but all of these things have happened. All of these things have happened. And to God be the glory. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I specifically had said over a year ago that in the coming days, many will want to seek counsel from the prophets of God and not the professionals. That may not be you, and that's not advised. That's not recommended for you to follow the prophets of God to invest your hard-earned money. That's what I'm doing. I don't recommend you do anything. However, if you're crazy like I am, we call it crazy for Jesus, because living a life of faith is radical. And I bet there are people that would even want to scoff and mock even what we're doing today. It don't matter if it's proving to be accurate. There are people out there that will still find an argument no matter what is happening right in front of their face. Jesus even said, even if a man is raised from the dead, some still will not believe. And I can't help with those people. So if that's you, please move to the back of the line and make room for somebody who is hungry to live a radicalized life of faith in Christ, and who wants to get outside the box and wants to believe in the impossible and to know that God cares for them enough to show them the future, to increase their finances, to be able to provide for themselves, their family, their loved ones, their neighbors, their community, their church, whatever. Come on. Then you've got that scoffer, that critic, that hater, that naysayer on the sidelines, or that just randomly comes in the comment section. More on my Facebook anymore. Not so much YouTube anymore. And, and they're like, Jesus would never give any crypto prophetic insight. I'm like, you know what? That's a rough place to be. When you think that you get to dictate what Jesus can and cannot do. Whoa. I don't even know that person even understands the condition that they're in that says those types of things. But that's just like, whoa, to me. That's crazy. But here's the thing. God is good. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a single thing that has ever caused me to bank what I've been able to achieve since God began to share these prophetic insights. Not a single thing. And I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful. And it's worth every flag. Because when you steward the word of the Lord, in the midst of all of the fiery darts that are sent against you from all of the enemy. And yes, that includes the people in the comment section. Yes, that includes the haters, the critics, the skeptics, the naysayers, the mockers, the scoffers, and the religious spirit demonized Christians. Sorry, not sorry. But when you steward the word of the Lord in the midst of adversity, not only that it does something for you, it does something to you. Then it does something through you, because people begin to see what living by faith really looks like. That there are persecutors, Anytime you live according to the Spirit and walk according to the supernatural, there are going to be those voices. And they believe they're speaking on behalf of God, when unfortunately, it's as if Jesus turns to them and says, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Remember, that was his disciple. Whoops. He also confronted Saul, who he later named Paul, and he says, "Why are you kicking against the goads? Why are you kicking against the prick?" We translate that as cattle prod, that which is directing the herd. He says, why are you fighting me? Why are you fighting me? Jesus comes to him. He says, why are you fighting me? Some people don't realize while they think they're standing for him, they're actually fighting him. That being said, guys, we may see a season of peace coming to this Iran war. Apostle Giles prophesied that it would be short-lived. My friend, Prophet MJ, says that it's coming. She saw a shift coming and that there's going to be a dialing down. There's also prophetic words that this year is going to be an incredible year as far as God providing provision this year. I believe we're going to see glimpses of this wealth transfer manifest this year. However, the problem is people are going to miss out if that's all they're waiting for right now, because we're also seeing some other things going on that will cause us to actually earn even more. And here's the thing, guys. I did a video yesterday about how we're stewarding the wealth transfer, and I talked about education. That's why I talk about, if you want to learn how to read the charts and you want to learn how to trade crypto, the course to do that is in the description section below. If you want to, learn how to send and receive your first crypto, like you have never done crypto before, or maybe you've done it but you need help walking you through it, holding your hand. I built a course to show you, because nobody has the time to hold your hand. And it teaches you from start to finish, and even goes into next level, depth of different elements of things that, most beginners don't even know. 100%. And a lot of amateurs don't even know. I bet there are people that have been watching me for a year, and because they never bought my course, if they bought the course, they would get in there and be like, yo, I've been in crypto for 3 years and I've never known this stuff. I'm telling you. And the reason why is because I've been part of large audiences, and I've engaged with a lot of people, more than I've done in this prophetic stuff. Back when I was in crypto before the prophetic stuff, I got access to so many tools, things that you should never be without. And those are in my getting started in crypto course. Then you've got the learn how to trade crypto or read the charts. Then you've got the place where you can buy gold and silver as well. That's also in the description section. But listen here. If you don't know about the Crypto Cycles course, that is the one that is literally that is the icing on the cake right now. The Crypto Cycles course is bar none the way to educate yourself, to develop your temperament, so that you get more out of emotion by following price points and even technical analysis. And this begins to show you data that goes way beyond what many traders are looking at. It brings all that in, but it goes even deeper. And so that is something that I've already gone through, and I have promised myself that I'm going to go through it again and again, because I want to get it so ingrained in me that I want to literally mature my temperament That's what that Crypto Cycles course does. And then this this portal, this dashboard, that is the bonus item that you get as a bonus. All right, this is sick. And of course, this is at the website, theotherguru.com, theotherguru.com. And so basically, this goes into so many different things that are just, you know, you could choose what kind of trader you are: swing trader, micro cap hunter, alt hunter, balanced alt, long-term builder, Bitcoin max. You've got, look at this, sniper mode. You've got deep dive, which goes into all sorts of data, man. It's crazy. But look at the top. Okay. You've got the fear and greed index, the Bitcoin dominance market. I mean, if you don't even know what this stuff is, it's got everything that you would want. But I'm telling you right now, this will give you all the information that you ever need to know about where you are in the current crypto cycle. It tells you right now whether you should be buying, whether you should be, now, obviously, everything through the disclaimer that comes along with it, but it is really informative. Really informative, and it's just like, and it's using the compilation of all the data mixed together, guys, which is sick. All right, theotherguru.com if you want to get that course. That being said, my private community is also in the description section below, guys. These are things that are on the table. I am here to empower you with educational content. Okay. My private community, where I share all the price points of what God's showing me, that is, you know, and I've had people ask me, can I pay for 6 months instead of the year? It's $120 for the year. It works out to be $10 a month, guys. My answer is no. I would like to be able to, but the problem is there are people, if you can't afford $120 for the year, I really don't think that you should be doing much with this stuff. You can buy and hold because you believe the profits, the XRP is going to go up, and just sit it and hold. Don't worry about, selling here and buying here and then coming back up and selling here. Like, we're doing that stuff, because we have the risk capital. We can do the $120 a year. So that's kind of the point. And I'm not going to budge on that because it's just about, and unfortunately, the people who can't afford $120 a year, they'll think otherwise. They'll think, no, I know I can handle it. I mean, okay. It's possible, but I'm not willing to take that risk. Because a lot of this information, as I've shared earlier, it takes several months. And a lot of people who don't have the temperament, they mess up along the way. I just shared this in my private community today. When Moses was used by God to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt, it was in that waiting period where they began to submit to other voices and compromise their entire journey. And sometimes in that waiting period, that's why my community, my private community, I coach along the way. I preach, I educate, I minister. I'm helping people to understand how to steward the prophetic and how to not make mistakes and how to recover if you've made mistakes and how to avoid making those same mistakes again and how to, strategize to mitigate risk, all sorts of different things. Guys, I got to run. Listen, there are things coming. That is the end all be all. I am telling you now. Okay. But there may be a time of peace coming, but that was already prophesied that it would be short-lived. But what is God doing in that season? As the crypto traders call it, he's packing our bags. Okay. He's filling your pocketbooks, as the old nannies would call it, right? He's, he is providing provision. People get bent out of shape about that because they're like, oh, listen to you. You're just all about money. Okay. it is all about money when it's all about money. Like when God was telling Joseph to store up for the famine so he could save an entire generation of people, it was all about the stuff that he was storing up. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on, dude. And all of that it cost money. All of it. It was worth money. It was, it might as well have been the gold and the silver. It might as well have been, and so on and so forth. So listen, allow the religious devils to be overthrown so that you can hear the Spirit of the Lord. God bless. Talk to you soon. The wealth transfer is on the way. Coming to a crypto wallet near you.